What is going on, guys? This is Versus All Gaming with my review of Kill la Kill episode 20, and it's almost crazy how every week this anime, it just gets freaking better and better. I love this episode, it was freaking great, and that ending was just amazing. So the episode, it starts off with Ryuko. We all know that she's not planning on wearing Senketsu anymore, and we have Mako here, and Mako was like definitely right saying that Ryuko definitely wasn't herself, and this right here was just all wrong. And even though Mako was like trying her hardest, you could just tell that her words really weren't reaching Ryuko. So then out of nowhere, we have Nue appear, and she looked really different. It's like she was like colorless, but at the same time, we just saw like her body composed of like life fibers, and it was just kind of weird how she looked overall. And so of course this right here, it like infuriates Ryuko, and she cuts her up. But then we see that Ragu appears out of nowhere, and it seems that it wasn't really them, but it was more like these clones of like life fibers. And so now we have them, by making Ryuko angrier and egging her on so that she'll come back to the school, because this is where they'll have their final showdown, and it's obvious that it's a trap. And even what's his name, the guy near the beach, Akira, he even telling Ryuko that it's a trap and that she shouldn't go. And of course, Ryoko's not gonna listen to him, and she even cuts down his DTR, and she was saying that he knew everything, and he would probably left him behind her back. You just tell that Ryuko was definitely upset about this, because you just see in her eyes they were like definitely tears. And so once again she like looks at Senketsu, and she was saying that like look at him, it pisses her off. And she just filled with like so much resentment and suffering that it's really eating her up. And not only that, she like storms off, and even though they didn't go after her, Tsumagu kind of stopped her from doing that. So now we have Ryuko. She like go to this bike shop, and she actually like steals, or she takes this like really weird looking purple bike. But we see that she is going to the school, and she is going to confront, Nue and Ragu. And so now we go back to Nudist Beach here, and they're in their base, and we have Hoka, who's like working pretty hard, and he finally, cracked the security system in the school. And we see on these surveillance cameras, we have all these uniforms, everywhere. And not only that, they finally see Satsuki. And of course we have Ira here being a real gentleman, and he like blocked her private part from being shown with like massive fingers. So at least like they're all at least now we see that they're all still caring for Satsuki, and they definitely want to go save her. And now we see that like with her and these fake totem that she has, she actually like sending them like a fake message or something. I believe that's what it was. I believe she's like using Morse code or something. But you could just see that, they all kind of got worked up. And it was definitely cool the way that their eyes were going as well. But now that they were so, set on rescuing her, we have Akira here, who was getting so worked up that he was actually going to pull down his underwear. And so we see now, we have this steering wheel that's clearly blocking the view. But Tsumagu, asks him if he's going to use something called the Naked Sun, and we finally see what that is, and it's kind of like the true form of Nudist Beach base, and it's this ship that that they all go on. And it seems that this guy that was like controlling Osaka, he was actually funding the money. So this guy, helped them build this, and we just see that their base, is now this ship, and they're now heading after Ryuko, but it's mainly to save Satsuki as well. And so then we go to Satsuki. Then we go to Ryuko, who actually breaks to the school, and right away she's like going to work, because we have this one covered uniform here, or suit, moving toward her in this I forgot what it's called, but it was like moving toward her out of nowhere. She like hit him with this bike because she was still riding it. But we see that she takes out all these surrounding covers around her, and she frees people inside. But then we have Nue appear as well, and they have this fight. And even though it seems like in the last episode, or the previous one, where Ryuko finally had the upper hand against Nue, it seems on this one that they're now on like equal ground. So that right there is kind of like disappointing. But it is nice to see that they are equal, because it could have been New Way could have like just dominated her again, but at least now they're both on equal footing. So that really is pretty cool. And so finally we have Satsuki. She breaks out, and we learn that her fake nails, they're actually made out of the same material that her sword was made out of. So when she like attacking the covers, she was actually able to cut them down pretty easily. So that right there was cool. Even though she did not have Junketsu or her sword anymore, she could still fight, and fight naked, I should add. So that right there was just awesome. I'm glad that Satsuki is definitely not going down, and she's standing her ground like a boss. I really enjoyed that part. And so now we have this fight still going on between Ryuko and Nue. And at one point Ryuko kind of used like some dirty tactic where she used this sheet that she had wrapped around her body, and she wrapped it around Nue's head and pulled her toward her, and she stabbed her with her scissor sword. And so we see that it actually looks like that right there was like a pretty lethal blow. I will admit that Nue definitely got me with that. But we learned that she and Ryuko, they are definitely the same. Whereas Ryuko actually came from like Ragyo, Nue here was actually born from like an artificial womb made from the original life fibers. And that right there, was definitely a major fact right there. I did find it weird how powerful she was, but now we know why. Her body is also infused with like life fibers. So now we have 3 characters like that, and they're all insanely strong. But we see that Nue's real plan here, it was to implant these marionette threads in Ryuko. It actually worked. And then we have Ragyo, who finally makes a move. Oh, but before that, we actually had Nudist Beach attacking her with these rockets. And I will admit, like the way that she dodged that first one, when she like just tilted her head, that right there was pretty badass. I'm not gonna lie, I will give her that one. But of course, the way that she blocked all the other missiles, it was by blocking it was by blocking them using the covers. And so now she actually plans on or forcing Ryuko to wear Junketsu, and we see that while like fitting her body, we see like the red threads are kind of like coming like appearing on her like veins, but I believe that they're like controlling her body something, and they're definitely changing her, because we see that Junketsu, it definitely fitted her a lot differently than we have seen so far. And so now we have Satsuki, who finally makes out to school, and she's like reunited with the Elite Four, or at least 3 of them, because I believe Hoka is like on the Naked Sun. And so now when they're all together, she seemed to be relaxing somewhat. She was having tea by her butler being served again. But not before long, we have Ryuko, who is now kind of being possessed, if not controlled in some way by Junketsu. She like storms her way onto the Naked Sun, and now she starts wrecking things up. And of course now like we really don't have a way to stop her, but Tsumagu actually wants to go out there and fight her. And even Aikiro was saying that if he goes out there, then he definitely was gonna die. But he was actually going to use this like personalized DTR that was actually better than the Aikiro, which like really surprised me, because I thought he would have the best one, since he is the leader of Nudist Beach after all. But when Tsumagu went out there, he really wasn't doing much, surprisingly, because normally we see this guy cleaning up and wrecking house. But this DTR, it was just so ineffective against Ryuko. It was kind of crazy. But then Satsuki here had this brilliant plan, and she went to Mako and her family, who we all know tagged along, especially her family. And I definitely like the way that that Ira will stand up for Mako. I believe that this ship, or parent I should say, it has definitely sailed now. I was definitely surprised in the last episode when they kind of made Mako x Ira canon. But I gotta say, like, this pairing, I'm definitely liking it more every week. I will say that. I am digging it. So I gotta say, I am now on board with that ship. But we have Satsuki, who actually goes to them, but more importantly, Senketsu, because we all know that he wants to be warned by Ryuko again, because those two are partners and best friends, like Mako said. But now Satsuki, she had this brilliant idea, and she actually put on Senketsu. And so now she wants to fight with Senketsu to free Ryuko. And I gotta say, like, that ending right there, it was just so amazing. Like, that standoff, I just know that after this episode, it's gonna be amazing. It definitely is. I cannot wait to see this. I do hope that, you know, Satsuki can transform with no problem. And I do hope that, you know, it'll look a little different or a lot different. I don't really care. I just want it to be, you know, somewhat different from the way that Ryuko looking at it. I believe that right there could be, you know, original between them. But I gotta just say, you know, these two fighting, especially, you know, when they're wearing, you know, each other guard robes, it's gonna be amazing. But as always, please do not forget to like the video and subscribe, because that really helps me out. I would love to hear what you guys thought about this episode. Did you enjoy it or not? Because I definitely know that I did. I loved it. I give it, you know, an A+ rating, because to me, it was just that freaking good. But as always, you guys take it easy, and I will see you all next time. I cannot believe that I almost left this out of my review. But when Ryuko was putting on Senketsu on Ryuko, we saw like this fake pass of Ryuko, or Ryuko, I should say, being this like caring and faithful mother. As we saw her, you know, holding Ryuko as a baby. You know, it was just like basically Ryuko growing up with like her being in school and her being a toddler and all. It was just so freaking weird. And to make things even worse, we actually saw Ryuko, you know, a lot older, and she was getting married as well. And the thing is, you know, her groom here, it was like made of life fibers. If we saw that his head, it was like made out of these red threads. So it was definitely weird. I do wonder if this right here was like part of, you know, Ryuko brainwashing, or maybe this was like Senketsu, you know, tampering with Ryuko's mind so that it'll be easier to control her. But I do wonder, you know, like how much of a role did this play? Because maybe, you know, these fake memories, they don't have, you know, much hope of Ryuko or what. I just want to know, like, what do you guys think? I really did not want to leave that part out, because to me it definitely stood out. I am glad that I did remember that, because I would hate to leave that part out. I would just love to hear what you guys thought about that, you know, that like one scene about that, because to me it was definitely intriguing. But that was all. So as always, guys, take it easy.